When I was 14, my parents divorced, and I decided to live with my mom. I chose her because my dad was a sociopath. He often called my mom Miss Piggy. When I told him my decision, he said, "Fine, but don't expect to ever see me again." That hurt bad, but I knew I made the right choice. Or maybe not. You see, my mom got a new boyfriend a few months after, and I didn't like him at all. The first time we met, he smiled and said, "Hey, how are you?" I tried to act friendly, but his smile was fake. I could see the evil behind it, and I could tell he was a bad person. He always stared at me, especially when my back was turned to him. It made me very uncomfortable, but that's exactly what he wanted. He wanted to scare me.
Oh man, these are... Yeah. So first the stepbro was a creep, and now the stepfather's gonna be the creep. Anyway, hello everybody and welcome back to another video, and yes, we're doing another one of these. You've seen how well they've been performing. It's really just a bad idea for me to not do them, but it's actually quite fun just finding these goddamn deleted ones over and over again. It's just stupendously hilarious, to say the least. Anyway, let's get back to it.
One day, the lock on my door was broken. I didn't have any proof, but I knew my stepdad did it. I was sure he wanted to come into my room at night. When I told my mom about it, she said, "I can't imagine he'd do that. He's always so nice. But I promise I'll keep an eye on him, and if he does anything bad to you, I'll break up with him." But
I mean, that sounds like a good parent thing to do. You don't want to like believe them at like the first sign to something potentially bad happening, because you never know. It could be completely wrong. Like, it could be perfectly fine.
I could tell she had no idea how evil he was. That night I woke up and there was a noise outside my door. Someone was standing out there. It was too dark to see him, but I knew my stepdad was peering through the lock at me. My heart was pounding so hard and I stayed away.
You just knew that he was standing there and watching you. It's not a fact that there could be potential something else happening. No. You knew. You just straight up knew that he was there, that he was watching you, and there was no way that wasn't the case.
Awake for hours, listening for more noises. But I didn't hear anything until sunrise. Then I heard him walking. He was pretending to be just passing by on the way to the kitchen, but I knew he'd been outside my door all night. When I went down to the kitchen, he said, "How did you sleep?" I didn't respond, so he continued, "Did I do anything to bother you?" I said, "No, you didn't." And he acted like he was confused, but I could see his smirk. He was happy he had scared me.
This is interesting in the case that, like, maybe she's that psychotic that she doesn't realize what's actually happening. I don't fucking know. Damn it, this video is demonetized.
He lived for that pleasure. I could see it in his eyes. I didn't tell my mom about it because she wouldn't believe me anyway. Meanwhile, my stepdad was slowly turning her against me. He was taking all of her time and my mom stopped seeing me as her daughter. Instead, I was just an annoying and unwanted guest. Then I was heating up some pizza in the microwave one day. I pulled it out and went to my room. But 10 minutes later, I heard my stepdad scream, "Fire!" I ran downstairs and saw him spraying the microwave with an extinguisher. The fire was out, but I could see the damage was done. I told her I had already taken out my slice of pizza. I said my stepdad must have put another one in after I left, but he denied everything. I screamed.
Wouldn't she have proof of a plate that may or may... Like, if this is like 10 minutes after you had pulled out your own piece of pizza, then you definitely have your own plate as evidence, or have like just something that proves that, hold on, I've done this already. Or let's say an extra piece of pizza was missing, or this or that. But no.
You did it! You started the fire!
Scream at him. Just go goddamn ham at him. Yeah, that's better. That's not gonna get me demonetized.
You're trying to make my mom hate me! But my mom screamed back, "Stop it! You're lying! You left the pizza in the microwave for too long and now you're trying to blame someone else!" I gotta admit, I was starting to wonder, am I going insane or was this part of my stepdad's evil plan? I knew my stepdad wanted to make me...
Again. Why didn't you like bring up the plate that you used if this is supposedly 10 minutes after you'd already pulled out your piece of pizza? And also, how does a pizza in a microwave for 15 minutes cause a fire? Like, yeah, you might burn it, but no, it's not exactly flammable.
The bad guy, but I was still so naive. I didn't know just how vicious and scheming he was. One time, I secretly listened to their conversation. He wanted to travel with my mom to South America for a month, but she said she had to stay home and take care of me. He responded, "Don't worry, she's old enough to stay alone for a while. Come on, we'd have a lot of fun." Every day, my stepdad manipulated my mom into loving me less. Don't believe me? When I showed her my final report card, she said, "Why can't you be a good daughter and study for school?" I yelled, "I hate school and I hate you. You don't
Wow, what is with these stories where the teenager's having some issues with family, and instead of taking everything calmly, they go off their goddamn head the moment they get probed just a slight little bit too much.
care about me anyway?" And she responded, "You have no idea what you've put me through. If it weren't for you constantly causing problems, my life would be so much easier." It was clear to me she wished I was gone. And then I noticed that she was looking more and more tired every day. I asked her, "Are you okay?" "Yeah, I'm fine, but I have to take my pills now." "Your what?" "They're for my backache. It's been bothering me for years and your stepdad recommended me."
Your stepdad recommended me them. What, is he recommending you drugs just because drugs? Like...
"To visit a doctor and get some pain pills." "But you look terrible. Those pills aren't helping you." "Stop it. You're too young to understand this." After she took her pills, I read the label. It said oxycodone. I didn't know what that was, so I did an internet search and found out that it was an extremely addictive drug. I was so scared.
Of course, gotta keep the melodrama of the stepdad being absolutely terrible.
Stepdad was turning my mom into a lifeless zombie, and I knew why. He was doing it so she wouldn't protect me anymore. And one morning, I woke up and saw that my door and wardrobe were open. How could that happen? I always made sure they were closed and locked. Always. I stood up and walked over to my wardrobe, and my breath stopped. A pair of my underwear was wrinkled. Had I put used underwear in my wardrobe, or had my stepdad done something to it? I
don't understand why it has to be wrinkled. Why couldn't, they dirty or something stupid? Why is it wrinkled? Like, what, do you put your clothes in there so prestigely that they're flat and they're perfect? There's not even a single wrinkle in it.
Down. I think I had a panic attack. How did he get into my room? What was he trying to do to me? I couldn't take it anymore, so I went to the police. I told them how my stepdad was drugging up my mom. I told them how someone had touched my underwear. They were worried about me and came to my home. They questioned my stepdad, but they didn't find any evidence. Still, they thought I might not be safe and brought me to a children's home for a while. There, I talked to a psychologist. He asked, "Did your stepdad hurt you in any way?" And I responded, "No, but he's always staring at me with a big grin on his face." After I'd talked to the psychologist for a few days, he told me I had paranoid personality disorder.
This sounds like it's a possibility.
He said I was only imagining all those things, and I got so angry I screamed, "You're on my..."
I got so angry, I screamed. I went "Ree!" at him. That literally would just prove to the psychologist that is truly what you have, because the second you got told that you may be making this stuff up in your mind, you're just like, "Ree!"
Stepdad's side? He paid you money so you protect him. I know it! My first night in the children's home was scary. I was laying inside my bed when I heard someone whispering. I looked around and saw two girls talking to each other while staring at me. My heart started racing. What did they want from me? What were they planning to do to me? I knew I was stronger than them, so I got out of bed and confronted them.
Oh, man. Of course they're telling us after the whole... We've been told that the psychologist thinks she's got this bad disorder thingy, bobbity knob.
I pushed them up against the wall and screamed, "What do you want from me?" The next day, I was told I was too violent to be with the other children. They said I was a danger to them, so they brought me to a psychiatric ward. When I got there, they gave me pills. They said the pills would help me, but I knew better.
You knew better. You knew better. You just went off at a pair of kids who looked like they were talking about you.
Knew they were trying to make me as tired and helpless as my mom. Then they could do with my body whatever they wanted.
Not everyone has this type of ill will against you.
So I refused the medicine and threw it on the ground. They told me to calm down, but when I didn't, they put me in an isolation room and tied me up. I was allowed to leave the room twice a day to go to the toilet. But 3 times a day, a man came into my room to give me pills. I immediately felt the effect. I started sleeping 12 hours a day, and I knew they were doing cruel things to my body while I was asleep.
You knew, did you? You fucking knew it. With your 10th layer of IQ, you knew they were doing something. But you were asleep. You're unconscious. You don't know shit.
I was upset that I hadn't seen my mom in days. Where was she? Who would give away their daughter to strangers? But after a while, things changed. Suddenly I felt better, and I stopped thinking that people were trying to hurt me. Maybe the medicine was working after all. When my mom came to see me, she asked me how I was and apologized 100 times for not supporting me more. She took me back to our home, and I even apologized to my stepdad. But a few days later, I noticed there were scratches next to the lock on my door.
Here we go again.
And just like that, my suspicions were back. So I hadn't been paranoid. My stepdad really did break into my room. I knew I had to get rid of him. So I created a fake profile with his photos on a dating website and then secretly installed the app on his smartphone and told my mom about it. And then they got into a big fight. However, my stepdad said I was the one who installed the dating app. And in the end, my mom believed him.
Oh, you got fucking caught, dumbass.
She said, "I'm sorry, but after everything you've done, I can't trust you anymore." I knew I needed to get out of that house, so I called up my biological dad. I hadn't seen him in years, and I wasn't sure he even wanted me. But to my surprise, he agreed to let me move in with him. But life with my dad wasn't any better. He was living in a dangerous neighborhood. Every time I stepped outside, I could feel the men on the street staring at me. I knew why they wanted me.
Okay, no, I'm sorry, no. But the way they portray this girl in the drawings, no. Not desirable at all, I'm sorry, but that's just how life is, I'm sorry.
So at age 16, I dropped out of school and got a job at a call center. That's how I could afford to rent my own small room in a safe neighborhood. I hated to leave my home, but at work, I fell in love with a guy. And he even moved in with me shortly after, but it wasn't a good relationship. I knew he was cheating constantly, so I often cried and screamed at him. He suggested we should visit his aunt. She was a psychologist, and maybe she could help us. In the
Sounds like just continued paranoia.
beginning, I didn't trust her. Maybe my stepdad was paying her money too.
Oh, for fuck's sake! It just has to all resolve back to that stepdad, eh?
But now it's been 2 years of her doing psychotherapy with me. It was a slow and painful process, but today I can look back and see how crazy I was acting a few years ago. And maybe my stepdad never tried to hurt me. Maybe he was just trying to be nice. Don't get me wrong though, I'm still suspicious of most people. But in good moments, I can see that my paranoia doesn't make much sense. Please let me know in the comments what you think of my stepdad. Was he trying to hurt me or just being friendly? I mean,
But you see, the thing is, what we know of your supposed stepdad is what you portray him as. So we're not really gonna get the greatest of imagery about him, you know? Maybe not.
So don't be naive and don't trust anyone.
Don't be naive and don't trust anyone. That is literally the worst statement to end on, because I'm gonna be honest, I do continue making more and more of these on the same stuff because it gets viewership, but these are also quite fun and entertaining to watch. It's quite fun for me to record a video just talking crap about these type of things, because it's just the absolute nonsense you get from some of these is brilliant. But anyway guys, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like down below. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, and you know what? If you feel like supporting this channel a bit more than just a simple subscription and watching every single video, there is now the ability to become a member on the channel and get a shout out at the end of every single video. But that doesn't happen yet because there is no members yet. So I'd appreciate it'd be pretty cool to see the first person to ever join. But anyway, till next time people, ta-ta.